Okay, I'm going to say it. Kevin Durant, you're the reason why this NBA offseason was lame. Hit the intro. Listen, it's not all on Kevin Durant's fault. Like, it's not all on his shoulders. I want to make that very clear, but he did cause a lot of rumors this year. He did cause the NBA to be basically frozen when it came to trade talks and I would say NBA free agency. I mean, outside of a Donovan Mitchell trade potentially still going to happen, I mean, we're pretty much set, locked, ready to go to opening day around, I think it's October 20th. I mean, we are ready to get the NBA season started. Preseason's going to start very soon in the next couple of weeks. I mean, I'm excited. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited for basketball to be back in about a month. Like, we still got a little bit of ways to go. 2K looks really fun. Like, all these things. I'm trying to look on the positive, but like when you look at the potential of this past summer, when we look at all the guys that were in rumors, trades that could potentially have been moved over the past couple weeks, I mean, we had like look at the lineup that could have been moved off of when we started the summer. I would say like throw in Kevin Durant and Kyrie because they kind of happened later into the summer, but I mean, Zach LaVine was reportedly going to be traded or potentially moved off of, which I completely understand was going to end up being like a contract boost thing. I'm going to leave. This is going to be it for me and the Bulls. No, I don't think Zach LaVine was ever going to really truly leave, but rumor was still like having a little bit of traction, a little bit of legs to it. We had Damian Lillard, Bradley Beal, DeAndre Ayton, the number one overall pick, add Kyrie and Kevin Durant. I mean, that is a loaded group of guys that we weren't really expecting to be potentially moved off of. Bam Adebayo, like, not to mention like the guys that were going to get traded, who was going to be moved off of them as well. Like that is not only the list that would have been moved off of, because a lot of those guys you would have to give up your own stars, guys that we weren't expecting to potentially be moved off of. I mean, we're talking like Mikal Bridges and many others of the Suns, Jaylen Brown, who just played an all NBA level finals appearance. And I for once have to agree with Patrick Beverley, like he did put a freeze on the NBA. Like he stopped, like his decision making, his choices put a freeze on a lot of other guys' jobs on potentially happening, or contract negotiations froze out. And some guys didn't know if they were going to have a job because Kevin Durant is such a valuable asset or such a untradeable guy. I mean, I don't know if you can really trade for a guy at that level with the assets that you do to continue to be competitive. It's a very specific situation in which you can trade a top 5 guy, give up a lot of young talent, and still be competitive right after. I mean, we look at Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, the Clippers situation with Paul George and everything. But we are talking about Kevin Durant, potentially the greatest scorer of all time. It's very difficult to move that forward, especially with his age and injury history and the contract that he still has. I mean, it did lock up a lot of other guys' potential moves, like Colin Sexton, Carmelo Anthony, many others could not get signed, or a decision could not be made because they did not know if they could potentially be in the Kevin Durant sweepstakes. And a lot of you guys could just make the assumption, well, I mean, the Cavaliers weren't going to be in it. Every single NBA team is going to at least make an offer. They're going to at least make an attempt because Kevin Durant automatically throws them into contention. Whether you think that the Brooklyn Nets now can win an NBA championship is really up to preference on how much you weigh chemistry, because when you look at paper, like I do not see a hole on this roster outside of maybe not a shot creating point guard, but like a playmaking point guard behind Kyrie. But after that, I mean, the backup center is still like shaky, or the center position, but I mean, you have Ben Simmons. I'm not getting into that because I haven't really been wanting to talk about the Nets because I have been preying on their downfall as a Rockets fan. We have most of their picks, so the quicker this thing can blow up and fall apart, the better. That's what I've been hoping for all summer, but I also have to give a lot of flack to the Suns. I mean, we were expecting DeAndre Ayton to potentially be moved off of, and now he's still on the Suns after we heard that JaVale McGee was going to put up the same production that the number one overall pick, a guy that was selected in front of Luka Doncic and Trae Young, is now all of a sudden going to just blossom potentially, which I think DeAndre Ayton has the potential to. And I was honestly really excited to see him do well with the Pacers. And we had heard all these trade rumors, and he signs it with the Pacers, but it's a match offer sheet, which I understand like why the Suns did it. But the thing is that could have been all handled way earlier. Instead, they go through this entire process where there's these rumors. Everyone, I swear, everyone and their mom was a GM this year when coming up with trade packages for Damian Lillard, Bradley Beal, both of those guys end up re-signing and the Blazers barely make any moves. I mean, am I crazy to say that this NBA offseason has been relatively disappointing? I don't want to be negative Nancy because we're almost about to get basketball back, and it's going to be really fun to watch the Bucks potentially win another championship because they're right now my favorite to win it all. I also want the 76ers to potentially contend with James Harden because I want James Harden to get a ring. Like, all these things are about to start up, and it's going to be really fun to see these storylines. And I don't want to negate the draft either. It's heartbreaking to hear about Chet getting injured, especially in the Pro-Am. DeJounte Murray, Rudy Gobert. I don't want to negate like the big moves that happened, but with the potential being so high, and Donovan Mitchell could really help this, obviously. And I think the DeJounte Murray, Rudy Gobert trades are special, and I think they make basketball really fun to watch. And trust me, shout out to King of the Fourth Quarter, Kenny. I enjoy basketball. By all means, I am a guy that enjoys basketball, but I do feel like this NBA offseason could have been a lot better. I mean, the swap at the number 1 overall pick obviously stings as a Rockets fan. I was thinking we were about to get Paolo Banchero, and we end up with Jabari Smith, which at the end of the day, you were happy with any of those top 3 guys. I'm happy with Jabari Smith and how Jalen Green looks into the future. So as an NBA fan, I'm overall pretty happy, and we've been blessed with some crazy off seasons. I mean, I remember which place and time I was for the Clippers getting Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. I remember where I was when the Rockets got Chris Paul. Like, we've been blessed over the past 5 years with a lot of player movement, and it's been really fun. But with that blessing, I did have a little bit more expectations going into this NBA offseason, and it's not completely done. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to talk about Colin Sexton, a guy that I've been very interested to talk about over the past couple years. NBA 2K looks fun. I mean, I guess I'm being a little bit spoiled, but at the end of the day, this has just been very disappointing offseason. I blame Kevin Durant for putting a freeze on everything. I much rather would have talked about Colin Sexton, Carmelo, and all the free agents and where they would have landed over the past couple months than have to deal with this entire Kevin Durant situation being out in public and all the rumors and all the players that got upset that they were in trade rumors, and then nothing happens and we just move forward. I mean, it's really embarrassing for Kevin Durant, but he really doesn't care. So we'll move forward. And if you are at this point of the video, thank you so much for watching. I truly enjoy your presence, and please leave a comment, leave a like, and I would say consider subscribing. I like making content for you guys. So if there's a team that you want me to talk about, whether it's college football, NBA, NFL, anything, even MLB, I would try a baseball video for you. I'm not guaranteeing it would be great. I'm going to be honest, but I would do it because I want to make content for y'all. I want to build a community. That's all I've always wanted to do. So please consider subscribing. And thank you so much for watching. Hit the outro.